Welcome to The Actor's Choice, where the actors and actresses have a chance to talk about themselves and their careers. Join us now for the next hour as we explore the marvelous industry of acting by actors and actresses from today's exciting show business world. And now, direct from Hollywood, here's your host, Ron Brewington.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ron Brewington, and welcome to The Actor's Choice. Ladies and gentlemen, we are blessed today as a remarkable teacher, playwright, performer, etc., who is here to let us know a little bit about a place she's gotten out here. So without further ado, please welcome Melanie MacQueen. Greetings, Melanie, and welcome to The Actor's Choice.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
We just got right on in there with no problem whatsoever.
Good. That's the way I like to have it happen.
Indeed. Tell us, where were you born?
I was born in El Paso, Texas.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I spent a little time in the Navy. I spent some time in Corpus
Yeah.
Christi.
My father was in a mining school there. He's becoming a mining engineer. And my birth announcement and his graduation announcement were sent out at the same time. So, yeah.
God bless.
Don't ask me anything about El Paso, though, because I was there for just a few days before.
And then where did you go?
Huh?
Where did you go after that?
We went to Butte, Montana.
Oh, Butte, Montana.
Yeah, Butte, Montana, where my father worked in the mine there, which is now a super fun site where geese will die if they sit on the lake. You know, it's that copper mine there. And I lived there till I was 9. And then we moved to another little mining town that isn't there anymore called Inspiration, Arizona. Another mining town. And then we moved when I was 13 to Scottsdale, Arizona, and I went to high school and college there, to Saguaro High School and Arizona State University.
That's right.
Yeah.
What was it like when you first decided to get into acting?
Well, when I was in high school, I managed to do one acting role, and then I never got cast again. And I was doing very well in all the speech debates. I actually even won a gold medal in one of the state speech contests. But my teacher, who I knew really, really liked me a lot, never cast me in anything. She cast all the pretty girls. And I got the message that, Melanie, we love you, but you're just not pretty enough for show business, you know. So I kind of internalized that. And I went and started studying because I was also a pretty good artist, painting, drawing. And I took art at Arizona State. I was going to go into advertising design because I figured that was a safe, sane thing to do. You know, I doubt that that's actually true, but I thought that at the time. And then when I was about a junior, I decided, oh, forget it. I'm going to do what I really want to do. And then even though I might not be pretty enough for show business, I'm going to do it anyway. So I, even though I finished my degree in art, I started doing more and more plays. And then I went to the American Academy of Dramatic Arts in Pasadena after I graduated and went from there. Yeah.
Maybe I hate to tell you this, but you are fine. Okay? F-I-N-E, fine. I don't know what other people are talking about.
I see you're wearing glasses, but okay. I'll take it. I'll take it.
I did a little bit of research. The year was February 1982 to the present. That's 42 years. You were a director. Tell us about it. Tell us about that.
I'm sorry. Tell us about what was the last part?
The year was February 1982 to the present. That's 42 years. Theater director. Freelance.
Right. I didn't really start directing at that time. I was doing a lot of voice work in animation, like the series Robotech. I did one of the main voices in that, a Japanese series. I became kind of known for that, and other voices, other things like that. I also helped found the Theater of Note, which is still a theater that is in Hollywood going today. That was for the new one-act theater ensemble. So we did new work all the time. And we were in downtown Los Angeles for quite a while. And now they're here in Hollywood, the theater. So I did direct there briefly, but I didn't really start directing. I was acting and occasionally writing, but mostly acting until probably the mid 90s or early 90s, and then I started directing. Yeah.
Yes, because I see from September 1977 to June of 1978, you were a school teacher.
Uh, yeah. Well, I was an after school teacher. I taught after school theater with a program called Theater Phoenix, which was started by the wonderful actress, and you look her up on IMDb, Lelia Goldoni, who just passed away a couple of years ago. Um, and she did the movie Shadows, which was about a woman who was half African American. And she did that in Europe. And after she did that, even though she wasn't actually half African American, but she was playing that character, she was having trouble getting work because that, considered stigma of her being half Black actually affected her employment, even though she wasn't actually, but it shouldn't either way, obviously. But, she thought that was rather funny and ironic. She was Sicilian.
Mhm.
But anyway, so Lelia started this company, and I worked with her for many years until actually last year, I think I taught my last after school theater class. Yeah.
I know a feeling. I just Santa Monica College. You familiar with them?
Yes, yes.
I just finished 22 years with them.
Oh my goodness.
Retired.
And I also taught Montessori school for a while. I taught at a Montessori preschool for a few years. After I retired from as a Virginia icon, as Lady Luck, when I turned 60, I needed to cobble together several jobs in order to make money. So I had about 5 different jobs. But luckily, though, I liked all of them. I taught seniors at senior residences. I taught them acting. I was teaching after school acting. I was teaching Montessori school. And I was directing at Theater 40, which is where I have directed most of my plays over the years.
One more I've got to say before we get to the meat of it.
Uh,
1990 to June 2013, 24 years, you were the mascot, Lady Luck, for the Virginia State Lottery.
I was, yes, indeed. And that was a wonderful, fun job.
Yeah.
Because I got to dress up like a fairy, wear a tiara, and wave a wand, and give people good luck. And I really enjoyed it because they were not, because the way the lottery is set up in Virginia, they're very much told by all the powers that be, do not be a hard sell, do not push lottery tickets on people, be very soft sell, be very. So I was never as their representative and their commercial person. I was never said sell the tickets, sell the tickets. I was just out there basically giving people luck. So if they were having a hard time in their love life, or they were, having trouble coming up with the rent, or just feeling low about themselves, I could just go up, give them a hug, wave the wand, and not even mention lottery tickets. So I was very, very pleased to do that at state fairs and all around the state. I used to do tours around the state, and I could just give people good feelings, good vibes, which is what I love to do. So you practically wouldn't have to pay me, but I'm glad they did.
Melanie, when are you going to write the book?
Well, I did keep a travel journal about my experiences in Virginia, filming the commercials and going around the state. I guess, unlike some people, although a couple of people said that to me, I tend to think that other people are more interesting than I am. And I honestly don't think that my life has been all that amazing that people would really want to sit down and read a book about me. So I haven't gotten to write the book so far.
Please do. Down a little trivia. You are best known for your voice work for Lisa Hayes and Marlene Ariel of the Robotech franchise.
Right. That was part of my voice work. As I said, when I first came to Hollywood, I very much lucked into doing voice work, dubbing foreign films into English, and doing a lot of Japanese animation into English, and doing some Spanish soap operas into English. That I dubbed a voice of a very sultry woman on The Rich Also Cry, and I just put my voice way down, and she smoked a lot. I don't smoke, but I had to pretend that I smoked. And in Spanish soap operas, they didn't allow you to be very naughty. So about the most naughty thing you could do was sit there and smoke a cigarette and raise one eyebrow, you know. So yeah, so I did that, and among other things, had a great time with that.
Outstanding. You've had many, many careers. You're an actress, a director, playwright. Which one do you like the best?
um, God, it's hard to choose because they are all very rewarding. I think I really do like playwriting the best because my favorite experience in my career so far was when I wrote, directed, and produced my musical In the Name of God, or Honk If You Love Satire. And that was something that I did in the mid 90s. And that I think was my favorite creative experience so far. And I've done I did some other plays that were done in another musical called um, no, I did Future Features, and then I did another children's musical, which we did as a fundraiser for Heart of Los Angeles Youth, which is a group I used to volunteer with in the 90s. My husband and I used to volunteer with them, and they serve, and they still do, they still exist. And we did a theater program with them, and they served inner city children. We would help them write their own plays, and you know, we would be in their plays with them and put their plays on with them. And I'm still in touch with some of the kids from that. So yeah, probably that's a rambling answer, but my favorite thing was probably playwriting.
Oh, here we go again. Ladies and gentlemen, we came here today to see a stage reading of the new play, All These Women, written and directed by Melanie MacQueen. Now, you understand you presented at Theater 40,
Right.
Saturday, October 19th, Theater 40.
Yes, that's where we're doing two of them actually. We'll be doing one at Theater 40 on Saturday afternoon. That would be the first one. And then we're doing one at the Mayflower Club on November 3rd, just before the scary election. So yeah, so so those are the two readings we're doing. I need to see how it looks on its feet.
Gotcha.
If I need to rewrite it, trim it, whatever, you know, I have a tendency to show a little too much of my research in my work. So I might be putting people to sleep. I don't know. We'll have to see.
Now, this play is called All These Women.
Right. It is about, you're going to ask me what it's about?
What was it about?
It's about the last years of the suffragette movement, or suffragist movement, I should say. They use the word suffragette in England, but suffragist is the word they used here in America. And it covers the years from 1913 to 1920, when Woodrow Wilson was in office and when World War I was unfolding. And against that backdrop, the women were waging the last battle to get the 19th Amendment passed so that women could get the vote across the country. Now, in 1913, a few states had given women the vote, but not all of them by any means. And also sometimes the vote was limited. They can only vote in certain local elections, so they couldn't necessarily vote for president or anything like that. So there was a very scattershot voting ability in a few states in 1913, but certainly not across the country.
Why did you want to write this play?
Well, the pandemic did a lot. It had always had silver linings for a lot of people, and I was one of them. During the pandemic, there were a couple of things that came forcibly into my view because we were having the centennial of the women's vote, because 2020 was the centennial of when women had gotten the vote in 1920. And so one of the things I was reading about, studying about, was all the civil rights issues I could get my hands on. And women voting was very much in my mind at that point. And so I was reading a lot. I read a book by Elaine Weiss called The Woman's Hour, which is set in Tennessee, and it's about the very last battle to get women the vote. But my play really isn't about that. It's set earlier. But I was reading all these things about the long, long struggle to get women the vote. And I was also reading a lot of things about Black Lives Matter because the George Floyd horrible thing that happened. And so I was doing a lot of research on that. And at the same time, I started writing two plays, All These Women, and the other one was Johnson/Johnson, which compared the presidency of Andrew Johnson and Lyndon Baines Johnson and their relationship with civil rights, and how Andrew Johnson did a terrible job with civil rights, and how Lyndon Baines Johnson did a better job with civil rights, with a lot of help, of course, from the Black community, but he did at least spend his collateral as a president to actually get some things passed. So I became very obsessed in the pandemic time about the history of our country and how we were ignoring a lot of the history of our country and how hard the fight had been for civil rights, for women, for Black people to come into their own, and that it was a long, long battle. It was not an easy thing. It didn't happen overnight. It happened over years and years, and I wanted to dramatize that.
I don't have to tell you that there's a possible woman who is running for president right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that none of your audience are Trump supporters, but because if so, I'm about to alienate them, No, I mean, I started to get very panicked around 2016, and I have continued to be, well, then Biden came in, and I'm like, okay, and then I'm panicking again, so, Harris Waltz is all I can say. So now, hopefully, we haven't lost anybody in your audience.
We call it politics and politicians.
Yes, yes. We actually just went to a party, my husband and I, last night. A good friend of mine is Kitty Feldy. She was a Washington journalist for many years, and she worked. Well, you wouldn't know about it here in California, but she does these parties called Pie and Propositions, because here in California we have a lot more what you would call direct democracy, in that we don't just have the offices that we're voting for, president and whatnot, but all these propositions about whether to have bonds for clean water, whether to vote more for homelessness, whether to do things about the school situation, so there's a whole list of things we have to look over. So we all researched propositions, and then we got together and had pie and talked about propositions. So, yeah.
Who is Inez Milholland?
Inez Milholland deserves her own play. She was a suffragist who was a lawyer, a free thinker. She believed in free love. She was a lover of Upton Sinclair. But he was a little too staid for her, so she married, actually proposed to her husband, because that's the kind of gal she was, and she led the Women's Parade, which opens my play, that was done the day before. I think it was the day before Wilson's inauguration in 1913. She was riding the horse in front of the parade. And she was a beautiful, beautiful woman. One of the things they would say about suffragists is, oh, they're a bunch of old hags, horse-faced hags that look horrible. Their only reason they're in this is because they're so ugly and they can't get a man, blah, blah, blah. Well, there were many beautiful women, and then she was one of them. And she led the parade. And unfortunately, she died young because she wasn't as strong as she looked. And when she died, she collapsed on stage saying, Mr. President, when shall we have the vote? And she basically collapsed on stage and died shortly thereafter. And so she was kind of a martyr to the cause. Unfortunately, I found, like with Martin Luther King, that there often needs to be a martyr to the cause to really push it over the boundary that everybody's trying. You don't want there to be a martyr. You don't want anybody to die for it. But unfortunately, it seems like that moves things along. And she was one of the ones who really focused people's attention on the women's cause, because she was beautiful, she was talented, and she died quite young. So
we just showed you a picture, Theater 40. Beverly Hills, there it is.
Yes, yes, there it is.
Can you tell us date, place, and time? We know that where the place is, but how you get tickets?
Yes, absolutely. Well, if you go to theater40.org,
Uh-huh.
you will see our theater and everything that's coming up and everything that's on it. I believe they have something about my play on there. If they don't worry about it. Just show up at the door. We are on the grounds of the Beverly Hills High School, and don't let that confuse you because we are not associated with the high school, but we have been on the grounds there for well over 40 years. And we've won many awards. I've directed a lot of the plays over there. Many other wonderful directors have directed plays over there. And it's going to be at 2 p.m. on Saturday the 19th. And it's 241 Moreno Drive. And you just come in on the corner of Moreno and Durant and come in the gate and drive around, and there's free parking. And it starts at 2, and the run's about 2 hours probably. And there's an intermission in case you need to go to the bathroom.
Gotcha. That's Theater 40. You've done a lot of plays over there.
Yes, I have. Oh, did you want me to talk about them?
Yes, we have a moment or two.
Yeah. One of the ones I did most recently was called The Revolutionist.
Yes.
And that is a play that I was very happy to be doing because it's kind of a surreal play, but it's about women in the French Revolution. Charlotte Corday, Olympe de Gouges, those were real women. Of course, Marie Antoinette, a real woman. And Marianne, who is a composite of women who were fighting for rights in Haiti. Well, it wasn't called Haiti at that point because it was owned basically by the French. And I just kept feeling that the moment that we're living in, we have to consider what we're willing to do to preserve our freedom. And sometimes it will cost. It's going to cost a lot. It can cost your life, but definitely these women were, had to pay that price. And so I thought it was a very interesting thing. It's actually a comedy as well. There's very funny things in it as well. But that's one of the plays I was very happy to do. The Play's the Thing, which was a play that my husband was in. Mm-hmm. And I direct my play. Nepotism is alive and well. And but he's a very talented actor. And that's just a silly, fun play because I also believe that we need to just laugh and have time to escape from the heaviness of the world. And that play has no socially redeeming value whatsoever other than just to have a good laugh. Those are a couple of the ones that I did. Yeah.
Back to one more thing. All these women, what exists you the most about this play?
What does me the most? What was that?
What do you get the most out of this play?
Well, the most out of this play, I think that I really want to start conversations. I want people to go out in the lobby, and I don't need them to be saying, "Oh, Melanie MacQueen is the most brilliant playwright in the world." I don't need that. I mean, I like it, but I don't need it. What I want is for them to be talking about the subject, start conversations, start thinking about where we've been so we can know where we're going. Because those who don't know their history are doomed to repeat it, as they say. And I think I would love for this play to be done in educational institutions. I would love that because I think that we have to examine what we've done historically and see how hard it's been to get where we are in order to hang on to what we have and hopefully improve on where we're going.
Okay. Melanie, I just want to thank you for being with us here today. I'm most sincerely very happy about the many, 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 many things you have done in your time.
Thank you.
I also want to thank you, a very dear friend of mine, Philip Sokolov.
Philip Sokolov, yes, dear man, yes.
You do know he is an actor. You do know that.
I do know that. Occasionally he does something at our play at our theater, yes. But he's a wonderful publicist too. Yes, he is. He got me on here with you, so yay, Philip.
I was just about to say the same thing. You got me there, but don't forget, keep in touch with me, okay?
I will, sure.
Melanie, God bless you.
God bless you, Ron.
Best to your husband, please.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Melanie MacQueen. This is the Actor's Choice. I'm your host, Ron Brewington. Roller Tony, music saved my life. It's a transformational initiative spearheaded by Torrance Brannon Reese under FAMLI Incorporated. It's a 501c3 nonprofit that established in 1992. Now, this global movement aims to empower vulnerable youth and underscore the healing power of music in the lives of musicians and underserved communities, reaching both national and international audiences. Working alongside P&R and marketing professional Sydney Chandler and longtime friend Danny Mayo, Brandon Reese is committed to fostering resilience, creativity, and connection through music, ladies and gentlemen. So discover how the inspiring project will be making a difference at familysoul.org. Again, familysoul.org. Okay? Thank you. I see a pretty lady sitting up there. Thank you.
Hello.
Roll it, Tony.
Alexander, everything will be fine. The ballet will be a success.
It's a piece of shit.
Here we go.
Well, what do you want me to say?
You're always like this. Right before premiere, you go into a funk.
No, that's not it.
What? If it's not nerves, then what is it?
I know how we both can get what we want.
Oh, yeah? How's that?
We rip the bag off ourselves.
That's not an option, Mary Lou.
Ladies and gentlemen, my next guest today is getting more and more and more credits as she continues getting more JOBs, as we like to call it. Okay? That's what makes folks going up on up. Now, today, an actress will be telling us about a new play called I'll Be With You Shortly, which is a dark comedy and world premiere put together. Okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Alexis C. Martino.
Hello.
Well, hello there, lady. How you doing? Nice to welcome to the Actors Choice.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
So where were you born?
I was actually born here in California. Yeah, my dad was in the military, and so I was born out near Death Valley. And we only spent a couple of years here and then traveled to Georgia and then settled in Illinois. So I grew up in Illinois.
Hey, I'm sure you had a great time in that.
I did.
By the way, what we just showed was one of your reels, and we've got another one to go too. But I saw it. I said, "Oh, put that up there. Let everybody."
Oh, great.
So, getting into the acting bug. When did that first happen?
My very first performance was when I was 5. I have always known that I wanted to be a performer. My mom even knew. She's like, she wanted to be a performer the moment she came out. I've just loved it. It's this like special way to share something new with people, and it's also a nice respite from whatever is going on in the world.
Okay. The I'm an educator. I just left Santa Monica College. I've been there for a long time.
Wow.
But I'm always asking people when I talk to them, training and education. So, madam, what about your training? What about your education?
Yes. I majored in musical theater performance at Rockford University in Rockford, Illinois, which was incredible. I had such wonderful professors that really gave me the training that I needed. And I learned from some terrific, I learned from a really terrific costume designer as well. And then after college, I went to a 2-year conservatory in Chicago called Act One Studios, which unfortunately no longer exists, but I still connect with everyone who I met there. They're all really wonderful.
Yes.
Yeah.
One of the things that finally it came up to where you came here to Hollywood. What was that like?
It was wonderful. So I had done a feature film in Chicago, and that was my first feature. I was one of the leads, and it solidified that I needed to move to LA. I had actually made a choice. I'm like, do I want to move to New York or do I want to move to Los Angeles? And in Chicago, you kind of live on top of each other and you have to drive everywhere. And so I thought, which do I want to keep? Do I want to live on top of everybody or do I want to drive everywhere? And I decided I would drive everywhere. And so I came here. Also, I kind of broke up with winter because the winters in Chicago are brutal. So I can visit winter and then I come here and and then I forget what has been happening because my goodness, it's hard to tell when time passes because the weather is just so lovely here. Yep. So I drove across the country with my best friend from college, and the moment we drove over the state line, I just kind of felt like I'm home. It's beautiful.
Well, my dear, the year was 2009. You got a first job that you got was called Straight Fighter Round One Fight.
Oh my gosh. That is right. I was so actually someone who went to my college was working with different voiceover companies to create these like voiced comics. So it wasn't necessarily a cartoon that moved, but it was like the stagnant, here's a picture and then someone's talking. And for that particular, for Street Fighter, I voiced Cammy and learned a couple of years later that that particular voiceover that we did for that Street Fighter was added as a special edition into the Street Fighter movie that came out, which I don't recall who starred in that movie, but it was cool to see that, you know, someone else could hear my voice. They may not know who I am, but because the movie Street Fighter did so well, I thought that was really fun.
Your first IMDb credit.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Takes you back to way back.
It sure does.
You are also a singer.
Yes, I am.
You have an opportunity to do some work. We just happen to have a video showing you doing Chrome Cabaret.
Oh my goodness.
Hello, Tony.
I am underground, signals fading, can't be found. I finally open up, for you I'd do anything. You've turned off the volume, just when I've begun to sing.
Yay!
I
Talented
love
lady.
that
Talented. Talented. Indeed. Indeed. Doing stage work.
Yes.
That's a problem that I have with a lot of actors and actresses.
Really?
They will come here to Hollywood. They want to be a star. Nothing wrong with that. They do film, they do television, but they won't get up on that stage. They won't do it.
I know.
Can you give me some idea? Maybe what are we doing wrong here?
Well, having worked in both film and stage, there are different aspects to what needs to be done, because in film you have this much space.
Yes.
And you need to react, but not like super big, because then you look like you're crazy. And so it's this minimized reaction and emotion, and you're not necessarily talking loud.
Yes.
And with stage, you need to show the entire emotion in your body, and you need to be able to project and show people without overdoing it. And so I think also with stage work, you don't get to like cut and say, oh, I messed that up, let's go back. No, you just have to keep going. You miss a line, okay, we'll just find it over here. You know, so it's daunting being on stage, but I think it's so beautiful because you get to feed off of the energy of the audience. which can sometimes be great and sometimes not so great, depending on the mood of the audience. But it's just a totally different beast. And I know some people are wary of doing stage because they've only done film, but one of the gentlemen in this play, he mainly does film, but he's like, I want to have fun. I want to be big and boisterous. And I was like, go for it, buddy. Like, I think that's fantastic. Anyone should try it. It may feel uncomfortable, but everything new is uncomfortable. You're never going to be perfect from the beginning because you have to fail in order to learn. So I say everyone should try theater. It's fun. It really is.
Exactly. What's gonna happen? You're gonna learn something, right?
Right?
And while I'm thinking about it, what's your feeling about AI, the artificial intelligence?
Oh, that's uncomfortable. I don't like it. I I also like I can feel the energy off of humans, and when it's this computerized thing with, let's say, I've seen some films that used AI to unage people,
Yes.
and it just doesn't feel real. It feels plastic, or some people use the phrase uncanny valley, where it's supposed to be real, but it's maybe almost too hyper realistic, which makes it seem fake because us as humans are not perfect. And a lot of AI makes things look perfect, or the idea of perfect. And that's just not real. um, but also at the same time, I think we have so many actors out in the world already who are dying to perform, even if it is just standing in, oh, look, here's the back of my head. Let someone be able to do that. Because I just think that if we move to only using AI for performances, there's going to be this almost dumbed down, oh, this is just silly. I don't know. I prefer humans. I know that it can make things easier and maybe save money, but I think humans are the way to go. Yeah.
The technology that we've seen over the years, it's changed, going this way, that way,
Yes.
makes you want to holler, go up both your hands.
Right?
Okay. I'll be with you shortly. I understand this is your first time producing a show.
It sure is. I knew there was a lot to do. um, but boy, as you know, going through life as only an actor, um, it gives me a lot more of an understanding of what is going on in the production, aside from just what's happening on stage, what the director is saying. There is so much that goes into producing a show, and I'm so glad that I have my co-producer Jason Paul Evans. We have teamed together to get this baby going. But now I understand how to reach out to different theaters. Like, hey, do you have space for us, please?
Yeah.
Right. Yes, I had just had this laser focus on one thing, and now I have this broad picture of what it takes to put a show on, and getting a director, getting the cast together. It's been a really beautiful experience. It's a lot, but it's been a really beautiful experience.
But you still hold on to your wardrobe supervisor and others to work like that?
Yes. Yes, I have been a seamstress for about 20 years.
Wow.
I started when I was an infant. Um, and I feel very passionately about stage work and how the cast is portrayed. And I've done some wardrobe I've been the head wardrobe on some short films and in some commercials. And I'm also a little bit type A, so I was like, I'll take that on too. Some people are like, why are you doing that? I'm like, I don't know. I think maybe I just have a vision, and yeah.
Well, they always call it so many hats. Ain't nothing wrong with it. I don't see anything wrong with
Right? Yeah, change your hat. It's all good.
it. If you can't get a job over here, you get a job over there.
Right? Yes. Who needs downtime? Why?
How did you decide to produce this project with Jason Paul Evans?
Well, we had really wanted to put a show on. Neo Ensemble Theater is the theater company that I am a part of. And our last show that we had done was at the end of last year. We couldn't get another play going. And Jason and I were sitting together at one of our company meetings, and we're like, we really like this play. We should do this. Like, we should produce this. Yeah, that's great. We worked well together in the last play. Let's do this. And so we're like, yeah, can we produce this? We've never done this before, but we're going to learn along the way. And we have learned along the way, and so glad that I get to partner up with Jason. Like, I feel like we're like the dream team. It was not something that was necessarily planned. It was definitely in the moment. We're going to produce this because you can always figure it out.
And here you are ending up at the NEO Ensemble Theater.
Yes, Neo Ensemble Theater. I joined Neo at the beginning of 2020, about a week before lockdown. And they had obviously only been doing performances on stage. And so I got to experience with them moving everything over to Zoom. And because I had previous experience with Zoom, most of the company didn't. I got to teach everyone, okay, so this is how you turn your camera on and your microphone, and this is how you share your screen. It was such an interesting foray into a new theater company for me. But it was really lovely to have people that I could get to play and perform with during such a heavy, tumultuous time.
I'm sure you're looking to be down now. What's that place in New York City? They call it Broadway. Yeah, that place.
Broadway. Oh, that's the dream.
I was born and raised in New York City, and so I'm used to Broadway.
Oh.
When you go get your hot dog, the sauerkraut and mustard on it.
Ooh, that sounds good. That's very different from the Chicago hot dog with the neon relish and the tomatoes and everything.
How did you become a seamstress? There's another pickup right there.
Yes. So in college, we had the choice as musical theater majors, we had the choice of either working in the scene shop or the costume shop for 3 hours a day, twice a week. And I thought I would rather be covered in thread than sawdust. So I will work in the costume shop. That sounds great. And I learned from one of the top costume designers in the country, Jeff Hendry. He just retired last year, but he is still doing costuming and costume design for theaters around the Chicago area. Mm-hmm. Just to describe how great of a costume designer he is, during the Super Bowl debacle with Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake, the network called him to see if it was a possible wardrobe malfunction. And he was like, no. So he loved telling that story.
We got a few more minutes to talk about I'll Be With You Shortly. Can you give us a synopsis, please?
Yes. So this play, it takes place a little bit in the afterlife and a little bit in the living world. And it starts out with Carrie. I play Carrie. She has moved on in a way, and she has to figure out why she is stuck in this waiting room. She's stuck in a waiting room with a receptionist, and different antics go on throughout. She's like, why can't I go home? I just want to, where am I going? What am I doing? It's a really, really funny, poignant play. That I would say the loveliest overarching theme of this play is to enjoy your life while you're living it. Live in the moment instead of constantly looking towards the next thing, like, oh, I just need to finish this so I can go on to that because I'm sure that will make me happy. Mm-hmm. It's just living in the moment and enjoying your life while you're living it. And I think that's really beautiful. And I think a lot of people need to hear that kind of message.
World premiere, we should mention.
The world premiere, yes. We open tomorrow night at the Loft Ensemble Theater in North Hollywood at, was that 11030 Camarillo Street in North Hollywood, roughly at the corner of Camarillo and Lancashire. It's a really great spot.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You'll be doing Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, all at 8 p.m.
Correct.
You'll be wrapping on November 7th.
Yes.
Might stay a little bit longer.
Fingers crossed.
Make this a movie.
Oh my, that would be fun.
Besides you being in the job, you're also one of the role models.
I am, yes. I am Carrie. I am surprisingly the lead. I was not expecting to be the lead, but I am so happy to because I get to work. Primarily, I am on stage with the wonderful Rebecca O'Brien, and getting to work on stage with her is just a hoot. She is hilarious. She has such fantastic comedic timing. I love getting to play with her.
Excellent. Here's a crazy question.
Okay.
What excites you the most about this play?
Oh, gosh. The twists and turns. There are parts of this play you're not going to expect. You will be surprised and delighted and shocked. But it's just an all-around really fun play. And I love the ebbs and flows and how playful it really is.
All right. Yeah. Admission $25.
Yes.
Online ticketing.
Yes.
Estimated running time 75 minutes.
Yes. Absolutely. Yes. If people can, if you want to buy tickets, you can go to Neo Ensemble Theater. That's with an RE. .org. And you can either, there's a link to click on, or if you have a handy dandy phone, you can, we have a little QR code where you can just scan it and buy it right there.
Sounds like, oh, that's going to be right. It's going to be a real good thing.
Yes.
To thank my good friend, Philip Sokoloff.
Yes. Thank you, Phil.
Quite a guy.
He really is. And I was just watching the last woman, Meredith, was it? Melanie. And you mentioned that Phil is an actor, which I did not know. This is good information. We might have to reach out to Phil.
It's just like you are. He's an actor.
I love it.
For a long time.
Really?
All right. One more time. Give us the date, place, and time.
Yes. I'll Be With You Shortly performs Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays at 8 p.m. at the Loft Ensemble Theater at 11031 Camarillo Street in North Hollywood. From October 15th to November 7th.
Excellent. Thank you so much for being here today. Continued success is the best, of course, to my publicist, Philip Sokoloff. God bless you. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I want to thank our sponsors, Harvey Bradford, Photography as an Art, Ron Irwin's Lose Wife, Way to Lose Weight, Larry Buford's Book to the Future, time travel, message in a capsule. State Farm agent Carla Green and veteran actor Rob Brownstein's actor training facility. He calls it an actor's space. Much thanks to our guest today, actress, writer, producer Melanie MacQueen, and actor Alexis C. Martino. The Actor's Choice is a presentation of B&B Productions. Rudolph Brewington is the president. Sidney Chandler is our executive producer. Special thanks to our ever-growing audience. I'm Ron Brewington. See you next time.